Hello, the game has started. It's me to go first. Not a great rack. Too many, well, I was going to say too many vowels, but it's only 4-3. But W and F, not bingo-y tiles. And if I play FAW, then I'm keeping a vowel-heavy rack lead. So this is a tricky rack to sort out. I'm thinking about playing oaf, keeping where. But is there any way of getting the F or the W doubled? I'm not sure there is. Alright, so I don't really like this. It doesn't score very much. It keeps the W. And it just doesn't feel great. However, I think it's okay. Not great. But I've now got 2 scoring tiles. So I could sort this rack out with something like Dewey. There could be a bingo here, but I'm not seeing it at the moment. Having kept where, DDY isn't a great pickup in terms of finding words which end at WARE or WEAR. I've got the ED ending. I've got the ward ending. Ward with DEY. That's not suggesting anything. And I've got Y on itself as an ending. Again, not suggesting anything. Let me consider the floaters on the board. Roadway through the O. Not a bingo. Dwarf onto the F. Not scoring very much. Now I've got Yord on my rack. That does play underneath oaf. And I think it's Ophi, which is a commonly played phony, perhaps confused with Oti. Great, only 15 points for my opponent. I don't have any front hooks for oaf. Bar takes an A in front. And of takes a D and a W. So, well, this isn't great, but I've got Waddy. This might actually come off. I think it's good, but I may be confusing it with WADI. Decent rack leave, decent score. And it stays on. Fantastic. And I've got a good pickup. I've got Rutiles and Lustier. Sluttier through a T. No, well, I was going to say no floaters, but I do have the O of O, from which I can make outliers. So hopefully I will have a playable bingo. Waddy doesn't take anything after it. Now, do I have anything through the Y? I don't think so. My opponent requested to play me as soon as I logged on to ISC tonight, and I'm always happy to play people who ask for games. Okay, so 16 for my opponent. Do I have anything which goes in front of I'd? I don't. I do have outliers. Lustier and Rutiles don't play parallel to the E and D. To the E or D. I have Rutiles across here, and this is going to be preferable to outliers. Outliers opens up row O. And although this opens up H1, it doesn't open it up for a bingo. So Rutiles for 68, it takes nothing in front, just pausing in case there's a better placement with more of an overlap, and I don't think there is. Quite nice. I can't immediately see a bingo, but this looks balanced, and the Z's a good scoring tile and it goes well with O's. So I can see immediately I have zoo at H1. Through a C I would have colonize. Do I have anything through the first 4 tiles of rutile as a bingo? Can't see anything with the R or the U, T or I, so I can't see anything. So what if H1 is taken? What else is there? Do I have a double-double through the I? I don't think so. I still have no front hook for I'd, which would be FH or K. Great, zoo remains available. Do I have anything beginning with the D? Not that uses the Z. And zoo is going to leave quite an okay rack leave, not fabulous. 40 points, always welcome. Kith takes, I think it takes an E at the end, so I could have played ooze. Now, just pausing. I think had my opponent not played Kith, I may have had lion eyes. Just for future reference as a double-double, but he's blocked that. Anyway, zoo for 40. Pretty good. I have Lentigo. That plays in column 12, making L and D. Opponent's just gone there. However, I still have Lentigo playable in column 13 with a newly created spot, making dig and no. Do I have anything else? I'm not sure that anything else would be better. Well, what about this Kythe hook? So Lentigo for 80. $78 in column 13. I think I'll go for this placement. An argument for not going here would be if my opponent didn't know the E hook, but it's really tricky trying to judge what your opponent knows and what he doesn't know. I suspect there's not very much between these. And I guess playing Lentigo encourages a play in column 8, which removes the easy S hook for integer. And there are still 3 S's out there. I'm going with this. Okay, through an S or a Z, I would have mobilize. I can't see a 7 with this rack. Mobilize doesn't work. Mobilize doesn't work with the Z because E rutile's not good. B and M are not completely unbingo-y tiles. They're just not in the first rank. And I think M is slightly better than B. So it'd be nice to play off the B and one of the I's as a minimum. So play a boy, just looking at the letters on my rack, would leave an okay rack leave. I could play that making dib. Doesn't score very much. And I could play off more tiles. I could play mobile and die. Still both blanks to come. Lentigo has served the additional purpose of disrupting 4 of the floaters, or 3 of the floaters in integer, which my opponent could have bonused through. I've got a 100-point lead, so it's in my interests for the board to close down a bit, although it's still quite open, especially with the integers hook. So should I be doing something about that if it remains available? Well, possibly, and maybe the easiest way to do something about that would be a play in column 13. But I'm not seeing an obvious one. E would need to go next to the R. 14 minutes on my opponent's clock, 15 on mine. I think limby is good, so I suspect that may be my play. Except it leaves E, I and O, which is a pretty atrocious rack leave. And only scores 27 points, so maybe it won't be my play. I think playing in row N. Okay, opponent's put me in a tricky spot here. He's left open the integers hook. Do I do something about it? Limby just doesn't score enough to make it an obvious play. So, what about playing mobile here? 28 points, a decent score, keeping the board wide open. On the grounds that I'm 80 points ahead, this is going to make me 100 points ahead. Keeping the board wide open and not having a crappy rack leave increases my chances of just scoring my way through this. I'm going with this. Great, that's nice. Always nice to see the Q with the U. It holds out the potential for a high score. So I have Quim in column 1. That's nice. What else do I have? I have keys in row O, Q, U, E, Y, S, and integers. I don't think there's a 7 with this rack, or an 8 that I can see. Okay, wow, I was going to say big score for my opponent. I thought the J had been doubled, but fortunately the I covers the double letter square, so only 36 points, which is good. Although opponent has now created a new hotspot in row O for bingos ending in S. So that's fine. So, what to do here? Quim keeps EIYS. It would be nice to have a better rack leave. Is there a way of achieving that? I'm not seeing anything fantastic. Query, nearly available. So let me see what this looks like. That's nice. And I guess I can do something about the Y next turn. So Quim for 45. Not good at all. And quite tricky to sort out. It'll be hard not to leave a vowel-heavy rack leave. And my lead is 120 points, so I'm one bingo away from being only slightly in the lead with a poor rack. I guess I'd like to play off E, I and Y, and if I can do that, the rack leave of E, I, N, S is quite good. But how can I play E, I and Y? Still one S, only one S to come, and both blanks. I'm not sure I considered Q, U, O, R words last turn, but I don't think there are any or many. Okay, Curette for 26. That does take an S. And both blanks out there. Okay, opponent keeping the board open. So what I could do is play in by, which almost sorts the rack out. Scores 20 points, which is a fairly minimum score. Are there any big Y spots that I've overlooked? 12 minutes on my clock. Do I have anything across from DI? That would be one way of reducing the S spots danger. Don't think so. Yep, I think I will go with this. Again, I'm looking around to see if I can play off just E, I, and Y. Well, I can. In buy for 20, but what about this? What about Yeti? Only 5 fewer points, so I'm basically getting 5 fewer points for the advantage of retaining the N, and I think that's worth it. I think N does help this rack lead by quite a lot, so I'm going with this. Wow, 3 A's. Cruel, cruel game. So, what I'm going to do now is play off probably AIA. I can do that underneath curette. And even though I've got the S, with 2 blanks and an S out there and only 23 tiles in the bag, I think column 15 is pretty dangerous. And I don't think a rack leave of EINS remotely gives me a high likelihood of a bingo. If I was keeping EINRS, I might be more inclined to leave that open. Let me check the remaining vowels. A ton of A's still to come. 10 vowels out of 30 tiles. Okay. So it's a vowel light board. Sorry, a vowel light bag, but a vowel heavy rack that I've got. I don't have a problem playing off 3 vowels, even though the bag is vowel light, because I'm retaining 2. So what if my AIA spot is blocked? Do I have an alternative place for it or for something similar? Not that I've seen. Something like AIA and LA is pretty lame. Mind you, AIA under... Well, opponent's gone where I was going to go. However, has achieved the same end as I was aiming at in terms of taking out the curette's danger. But what to do about this rack? As I say, I have AIA and LA for 8. But that takes an R front hook and there are 3 R's to come. AIAS is just pathetic in terms of score. So I'm not sure what to do here. Anywhere I look for AIA, I'm looking at a score of fewer than 10 points. So I really need to be looking at the scoring tiles on the board to see if I can use any of them. But none of them seem to be in a position which affords very much. I don't think killing row O is the way to go, because there are still quite a lot of bingo lanes on this board. And also it would be placing the I underneath this triple letter square with an X still out there. 9 minutes on my clock. So, what about playing Aga? 17 points, which is getting up to 20. The rack leave is pretty good, apart from the fact that it's vowel heavy. If I pick up any good consonant, I'll have a good 6-letter set. And given that the vowel's light, this is less of a danger than it otherwise would be. I'm going with this. Great, I have scenarii. And SER is good, so I have that in row C. Wow, 104 for my opponent. Excellent stuff from him. Fortunately, I can come straight back with a bingo of my own. Is there anywhere else for it to play? I don't think so. So, scenario for 62. Fantastic pickup. I haven't immediately seen a bingo, but I have immediately seen the blank. So, in reasonable shape, a 60-point lead, and I've got the blank. And the remaining tiles pretty non-bingo-y. The blank's good, the S is good, but there's only three vowels out there, and none of them is an E. So that looks pretty un-bingo-y. However, it's not over yet, and there's a big scoring tile in the X, and I haven't explored the board for X options. There could be something big out there. So, considering my own rack, I do have Prevail. Does that play? Scenario takes nothing after it. So I've just got column 14. Yeti only takes an S. Gosh, DIV is good. So I do actually have Prevail, retaining just the blank. Might be worth doing. Certainly not worth hanging on for a bingo because there's hardly any tiles left and there are hardly any bingo lanes on the board. So, is there any alternative 7-letter bingos to Prevail? I don't think there are any floaters for me to consider apart from possibly the I. Well, I have Palaver. Oh wow, look at this. Palaver plays in row B above Scenarii. Fantastic. Will that be blocked? And do I definitely have nothing with the blank as an S? I don't think I do, and I think I would have seen that if I did. Palaver will open up the triple, but I'm not too bothered about that because, well, I'll see what the remaining tiles are after my opponent's play, but I think I'll be able to see whether I think there is a triple or not, and I'm not going to be overly cautious about avoiding it, given how unbingo-y the remaining tiles are. So 8 minutes on my opponent's clock and 8 on mine. Just 4 tiles in the bag, neither of us in time trouble. But opponent has spent a while on this move. Prevails in column 13, just failing at the last with GS. Fantastic. So, well, opponent plays off 2 non-bingo-y tiles. Am I confident that Palaver does not have a triple? Okay, so supposing the 2 in the bag with a V and the W. AMNORS blank. I get 87 for Palaver. Wow. And if I don't play, and my opponent is only 20 points behind, so if I don't play Palaver, my opponent may bingo and win. So I think I have to play this and hope that he doesn't have a triple. Although actually, even a single bingo may be enough. Because, no, I don't think it will be. This will put me 107 points ahead. I will lose 16 on countback, so my opponent would need to score about 90 with ransoms. And I don't think ransoms and Spa scores 90. I think it'll be close. I'm going with this. Great. The last two tiles in the bag are not V and W, they're blank and R. What a heavenly sight. So, opponent certainly doesn't have a bingo with his remaining tiles. I have a 100-point lead, and the luxury of finding the best out for blank and R. Well, that could have been so much different if the two tiles in the bag had been V and W. And the likelihood of the tiles being V and W in the bag are greater than just the mathematical odds, because if my opponent did have V and W on previous racks, he would have been more likely to play them somewhere. So Vrows for 45, good score for my opponent. He trails by 60. What can I do with blank and R? And I'm not going to spend forever on this. So I'm just going to have a quick look round, see what I can see. So I've got Re and Air, 6 points. Rob, 8. Roo, 9. Riz, 11. Can I do any better than that? 6 minutes on my clock. I don't think so. So, Riz for 11. And the final score, 421 to my opponent, 504 to me, a winning margin of 83 points, so a huge, huge win. Let's see what I missed. Okay, Examiner B tells me no play. I hope I haven't no played anybody inadvertently. Certainly didn't intentionally want to do that to my opponent. Now, what have we got here? Wafer. Okay, yes, better than my play. Vof. Opponent's rack obtained. Okay, straight through the A. My rack. Waddy for 30, that's what I played, but not there. I played it for 29, and that's a better position. Opponent's rack, no bingo, plays I'd, and Ruliest, I didn't consider that. I saw Rutiles and Lustier, but look at this, Ruliest available for 9 more points, making Swaddy, but sticking the R in the middle of row A, so I don't think it's quite 9 points better. And had I have seen it, I may not have played it. Rutile's a lot safer. Opponent's rack plays Kith. Now, what do I do here? Okay, well, what I do is I overlook Dozen for 48 and play Zoo for 40. 8 points difference. Is line 8 points better than oil? Well, it may be. It may be. And if it's not, it will certainly close the gap. So I still like Zoo. However, it's always nice to spot the alternate moves, and Dozen was one I overlooked, as was Ozone, making Kythe. Opponent's rack has a few bingos and plays one of them, Integer. I'm able to come straight back with Lentigo, which was the only bingo, playable in 3 spots. Horrible rack for my opponent. Plays Rock, I think. Yep. Did he have both C's? He did, so it looks like he was holding on to a C for the hook. Now, this was my rack. What do I do here? I play Mobile at D1 for 28. That looks fine, but N9. Embroil, I don't like that. It opens 2 lanes, which is better than 1. But they're 2 super hot lanes, and it gives my opponent first go at them. So I think that's needlessly volatile. I prefer mobile, just generally keeping the board open. Opponent plays gins, which he wouldn't have had if I'd played embroil. And now, yep, Quim for 45, but keys rather, A12. Ah, okay, for 56 points, but keeping 2 eyes and burning the S, so I prefer Quim. Opponent's rack plays curette and doesn't have the S or a blank, and this was a rack I struggled with, and I don't recognise, I think this was my Yeti play, but Yeti available. Okay, but that's stopping 1 square short of column 15, and I had deduced from curette that my opponent may have an S, so I'm not sure Yeti is attractive, even though the rack leave of ENS is better in terms of vowel consonant balance. EINS is quite a nice rack leave, so I prefer Yeti. Opponent plays fag. I draw 3 A's and think about what to do. Eventually go for Arga for 17, and I still like that. But Liana, I6. Yeah, Liana, tie and ha. Probably better. Just getting rid of that extra vowel and losing only 1 point. It would not have blocked my opponent's bingo though. He has pit heads, which was a fantastic spot. But I'm able to come back with scenarii. This is what my opponent draws. He dodges the blank. Dodges both blanks from his perspective. Plays Zoo for 38. And I have Palaver for 87. Oh gosh, did I get the maximum score here? Yes, I did. So what reduces the score? Oh, I see. The A here is on a triple letter square. I sometimes overlook which tile to put on, which tile to make the blank when the blank is one of the other tiles, but in this case I appear to have inadvertently chosen the right option. Opponent plays Browse, and finally, there was a bigger score than Res. There was quite a lot, and the biggest one of all was M12, ERE, Ref, and Eater. So the end of a very exciting game. Always good to get over 500 points. Whenever that happens, you know you've had quite a few high-scoring plays and probably quite a few bingos, and it's always good to get bingos down. It's not the only thing in Scrabble, but it's still a good feeling, that point when you see one on your rack and you see that it's playable on the board and you get to play it. It's one of the best things about the game, and it's a real spur to increasing your word knowledge, because the more bingos you know, the more you will play. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching that game, and I will see you next time.